I don't think I'm gonna sit down. I'm hot and sweaty. Happy Sunday, y'all. Woo! Yesterday, blowing winds, 20 miles an hour, 62 for the high. Oh, and rain at the crawfish bowl. We were in like a 10 by 12 awning, and we had to put tarps up. Now, by 1:30, the rain stopped, but it was such a wet mess and cold. We all was wet, but hey, had a fantastic time. Celebrated Poppy and Nanny's anniversary. That's my son-in-law's grandparents. And we're just thrilled that we can fellowship and be part of a family. We're an extended family, blended family coming together, and there's nothing any better. If y'all have close-knit with your in-laws and their extended family, God bless you, because it truly is a blessing to have them. But, yeah, I'm dirty. But I'm taking a break because I called Buddy because he had forgot. I promised that he was going to show you what he was doing grafting those 2 tomatoes. So I'm going to set you up on the garden tripod that, let's hope it works. If not, I'll just have to hold the camera. Then I'm going to show you what I've been working on, minus planting some more. So let me get it going before he starts, because I want him to take his time and explain to y'all. Y'all been asking, and here it is. Okay, guys, I'm actually holding this. So y'all are going to have to bear with us. But the main thing you want to see... Oh, thank you, bud. Okay, let me bend it down.
Get it down.
Now.
Say, get it down.
Okay, I think I got... Which way you tighten it? This way? Okay, I hope it's not a glare. And I'll be able to zoom in from here. So, it's all yours, bud.
Okay, well, the first thing I have done, which she didn't get caught there, was I transplanted out this little bitty cut into this. Basically, this is going to be my root stock that I'm going to use and put the other one on it. And this one here is a Better Boy. It's called a Better Boy Plus from Burpee.
Is that an indeterminate or
I just picked, these are indeterminate.
Okay.
Both these be indeterminate. And I was down there at the box store and grabbed 2 of them just for this little old deal here that I'm doing, because kind of doing a little bit more experiment with this to see if it can lead to other things. But as you'll see, this rootstock, this plant,
hang
is
on,
a
let
twin.
me come in.
This is a twin.
Okay.
So I've got this smaller one right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of the small limbs off of this sun gold, and I'm going to cut this one small one out, and then I'm just going to use a whipping tongue and put it back on the small one. And then if it takes good, then we'll have on the same plant, we'll have the sun gold, which is the small, and then we'll have the big Better Boys on the same plant. So we're going to see what happens.
And I'm holding this.
May turn to nothing. But first thing I got to do is get these lower branches. And I'm just using a little razor knife, and I took it and washed it with alcohol. Let me get these bottom branches off here without tearing everything in the world up.
Now, guys, he loves to graft. Y'all heard us talk about this for years, and I think this is... I don't think you've done a grafting video, or...
No.
No?
I haven't.
Okay.
Get them out of the way. Get this one out of the way. We don't need that one. All right, then we're gonna look at our stock size. I'm gonna take that one right there. So I'm just gonna come in right here.
Hang on, let me get the camera where they can see.
And I'm just gonna cut the top of this one off. Get it going. And then I'm gonna get me a...
Now, before you go any further, I got a question.
Yeah.
It's already got tomatoes in a bloom.
Yeah.
Which would indicate to me, now I could be wrong, it is root bound, is trying to finish its later days by producing
most
fruit
likely.
to be done. So
but
would you
this
take
is
that
just
off?
this is just the plant I'm using to get a stock off of.
Got you.
Then we're gonna plant this one. Okay.
Okay.
We'll plant the rest of this one.
Oh.
So this sun gold to go out here and go in the garden. All I'm using is that one piece of sun gold that I'm gonna transplant onto, basically graft onto this.
All right, I'm gonna go to your other side. Oh yeah, I can see now.
So this one here on the bottom, all we're gonna do is split it right in the middle. We're just gonna split straight down in there. Split it in half. Then we're gonna take this around here. We're just gonna come in, take this down at an angle on both sides. That knife, I need to get out there some fresh. There we go now. Make sure you get a little bit extra off there where it's supposed. And all we're gonna do is put this one into that one.
Into that split that you made.
And I've got some little grafting clips here that hold it.
So you don't have to tape it?
It's fairly snug, but I don't like that. So we're gonna go ahead and put a little clear tape. Let me pull me off a little piece. I got to hold pressure on it while I'm wrapping it without tearing the thing up. That's the thing, is this tape here is made, it's kind of like a stretch wrap, but you can't stretch too much on this thing because you're gonna mess it all up. Very, very tender. All right, I'm gonna put that on there, and then I'm gonna put this right above the joint. And I've got another one here I'm gonna clamp right below the joint. Okay, so it gets double. And let me get this out of the way.
Okay.
So now, it's stuck in the joint. You V the bottom like I showed you, then you're making your whip and your tongue.
So
and
this is the cherry tomato.
Yeah.
This is the
This
slicer.
is your slicer. So now you got basically your whip on the bottom, your tongue, and your tongue on the top. You just cut a slot in the bottom one, angle the top one, slide it in there where it makes good contact, and then wrap it with that plastic and put your clips on it. And then from there, it's a matter of, let me grab some little sticks here.
Now while he's grabbing sticks, let me show you something. Now this is from a box store. Okay, we got a bloom and we got 2 small tomatoes. Now, I wouldn't buy a plant. Now this has been sitting here a couple of weeks, but I would not buy a plant if you saw tomatoes, especially in this size pot, because that tells me that it is root bound and it's going to produce its fruit so it can be the end of its life cycle. That's what that indicates. So when I get ready to plant this, and I'm going to do it now if I can, well, I'm going to have to take those tomatoes off, and I will remove that bloom, and as well as this, because he said it's indeterminate. Even though you see that there's no hair here, that's because it's drying out. It's at the end of its cycle. So by removing this, I'm going to actually score, but I'll show you, and then I'm going to plant this and have it come on back. Okay, now Bud, what you're doing.
Now, I put some little sticks in there I cut. And we're just gonna bag it up just like greenhouse. And let it sit in here for a few days. See if that graft takes. I may have got my sticks too tall, I don't know. But I doubt it. We'll get it all worked around here. There we go. Get these points in there. As long as you get it sealed up, that's all that matters. Like I say, this tape doesn't stick. It's a stretchy stick, so you gotta stretch it. Okay. Now we can stretch it. That'll kind of seal it up, make it like a little greenhouse.
Well, that is cool.
And then we'll see in a few days what it does.
So in a few days, we'll come back with another video and
see if that turned brown and dead, or if it lived. I mean, if nothing else, if that dies, you just cut it off and plant what you got. You haven't lost nothing.
Right. But another experiment.
But this leads
Betty.
into maybe some other possibilities. You can cover if you got certain little varieties that you wanted, you don't want to take up a whole big area, then okay, you could do your plants young and you could have 2 or 3 varieties in one pot instead of wasting 2 or 3 pots.
Gotcha.
Unless you're trying to get gallons and gallons of them. If it's just one particular time you want to eat, you could kind of multi-grow them.
But if this works, well, every grafting you've done works, but if this actually works,
we'll see.
Then you can have a slicer and a cherry all together. Pretty cool. That's actually really cool. I'm at the end of the potato bed / housing our young okra that we're fixing to make a home for, because we've run out of room inside the garden. So I'm going to plant this, and I'm going to utilize this T-post to tie it off because it is an indeterminate. It's a cherry, so we know that it's going to get extremely tall. So I'm just going to open this up, and then I'm going to show you what I do with this plant. But like I said, let me bring it up here. These tomatoes, that whole top, you see what I'm doing? Well, hang on, I gotta hold it. Where's my cut? There it is. I took the top out. And the reason why I did that is because this plant has gotten so root bound in here that's when you'll see these box stores have plants of this size, and they'll start producing fruit, and you're like, oh, let me get that. It's already got tomatoes. No, stay away from that. Because what's happening is it's putting itself to fruit and ending its cycle, because that's what the plant is supposed to do, the life cycle. I got to get a cat out of the way, and we're going to go ahead and plant this cherry tomato. Lou, no, I have to plant. All right, we're going deep. Handful of calcium nitrate. Handful of my Dr. Earth 463. Concentrate on the phosphorus. Big handful of that. We're gonna cover that, pack it in. And I am going to actually remove that one. Okay, that's 2 pieces gone. That looks good. Let me pull my card out so we can remember what it is. And I bet you they're all brown. I mean, we got some white. Well, it's showing up more white on camera. But really, those roots, look at that. That is horrible. So I'm just going to kind of lightly break them up a little bit. Not hard, because I don't want to shock it. See how I'm exposing the hairs? This has got really, really hard. But now that I see I've got some hairs, I don't think I'm going to have to scrape it. See that? All right, I want to get that below the ground. That looks good. Put these little pieces in here. You know what? I'm going to have to get a stake because I put that too far from here, but that's okay. Let me go grab a stake, guys. All right. Get a little bit of straw around here. That's going to work. And see, I still have all of these okras to pull up. There we go. I think that little booger's going to be just fine. And Bud is moving all of the aloe vera. Well, not all, but some of the aloe vera, some of the fig trees, because he's got a measure for my garden sink. And this is what I've got to work on next. I just harvested a lot of oregano. Now I've got to wash it, dry it, and then I've got to dry it to make some oregano infused oils. So yeah, and I'm going to dry some also to cook with. But I will not be using a dehydrator because that does take the nutrients out of your herbs. A lot of people may argue that, but you're not going to get the full benefit of this herb or any other herbs. You'll get some, but you won't get the full effect when you start putting heat to it. So I'll show you how I'm going to dry this bunch of oregano. Now I'm over here at my parsley. Remember that storm that came through? Well, I'm seeing a lot of new growth, so I'm going to go ahead and harvest this, and I'm going to dry it as well. Okay, I think these do okay. We're going to turn it a little bit. And what I may have to do is move them from the bright sun right here, and I think I'm going to do that. Oh, I don't like that. And I say that because it's got some yelling, some dead. See, I'm going to chunk that. Let's find a new place for this. The perfect house. Oh yeah. You see, it's going to get some indirect sun right here. I think it's going to do just fine. My future sink, y'all, is getting washed. And yes, it's a mud hole. But it was a mud hole before he started. It's about 2:30, and I say it's time to make some coffee. So we're in the house. I'm gonna turn the camera and I'm gonna show you what I've done thus far. I filled the sink with some water. And then I'm gonna put my herbs in there. But let me show you what I do to my water, because this is the key element. Now this is the brand, because y'all are gonna ask, so I might as well show you. You can screenshot. This doesn't have aluminum in it, guys. And it is baking soda. So let's get over here to the sink, get this activating, and we're gonna put our herbs in, get them below the water. We need to let them soak 15 to 20 minutes. Then we're gonna rinse, rinse, rinse. So that gives me a little bit of time to get them off the stems. They won't be completely off the stems, but I'm gonna try to get some of the longer pieces off. So let's get to the sink. Now, if I had to guess, this is about 2 gallons of water. And I'm using tablespoons. It's 1, 2, 3. I'm gonna do 6, 4, 5, 6. And those are heaping. And I'll be able to tell you what, I'm gonna add 2 more, because I can tell how it bubbles. And I'm guesstimating this is 2 gallons. Okay, let's get this stirred around. Oh yeah, it's clouding up my water. You want your water cloudy. Okay, I'm gonna start with my parsley, and I'm just gonna break it off. I'm still gonna have some stems, which is fine. Set me a pile right here. And that's all I'm gonna do to get it ready for the sink. See, leaving a few stems. I'm gonna go ahead and drop my parsley first. Get it under the water. I don't want to put my oregano in here right now, because I want it separated. Okay, I'm gonna let that sit about 15 minutes. It gives me time to get a cup of coffee and sit down for just a minute. I've got the parsley soaked and rinsed. Now I'm just gonna spread it out. I've just got 2 old towels here, and I normally let them dry 4 or 5 hours here in the kitchen, and then we'll take them to their permanent drying spot out in the sugar shack. And I'll just kind of move this around every 5 minutes, and it's going to soak about 15. But I will rinse this twice. I will drain my water, rinse, come back. What is that? Oh, see? We don't want that. Y'all see that worm? Let's get that out of there. I don't know what kind of worm it was, but it sure did turn white, and it's dying. And that's why I soak. Well, it's fixing to be a dead one. Whatever it is. And that's the purpose of the baking soda. But you really got to rinse. I'm going to get my hands a good washing. Sit down and let it do its thing. And any of those worms and bugs, they'll try to come up out of that water. That's why I'm so glad I'm getting my outdoor garden sink done this year. We got the oregano washed, and I did rinse it 3 times. Now using another towel, and as you can see, I like to use white towels because I can bleach them. And I'm just going to give it a good pat all the way across to get all the moisture, as much as I can, out of these. Okay, with all the herbs tucked in, let's pull our parsley in. I'm going to lift this side up if I can. Let's push that in there some so the stems don't hang me up. Because I want to put it to rest for about 2 hours like this. And then I'll take it out to the sugar shack and actually stretch them all out. But this will allow it to dry pretty good right here for a couple of hours. And everything's covered, so let's go outside. Bud's got my sink in, y'all. He still got to paint the legs. He's giving it a good cleaning. We got to come back in and clean it. He still has to make a screen for one side so I can get the vegetables rinsed on a screen as well as soaking. He's still going to mount me, what'd you call it, a hose handle or something. He's got to, so right now this is what I got to use.
The water hose.
I got to use the water hose. So he's still got a little bit of modification to do, but guys, I am tickled pink. You hear me? We've had this about 1.5 years now. And it finally found its house.
16 inches deep.
Oh, is it that deep?
Yeah, it's 2 foot front to back, 4 foot wide.
This is gonna be nice.
A lot of vegetables.
And I got a spot to put my Fells and Napta. So when we're outside washing, we can come and wash up right here. Thank you, bud. I love it. I had to get one more look from the side. Well, I tell you what, I'll be doing all my washing out here. This is going to be nice. Now, where does the water run is my question.
Right now, it's running right there. I'm going to put a bucket on it so I can get the drain running.
Oh, okay. What do you think of my sink? I'm easing away from the girls. I gave them a snack so I could go get me some really pretty clean eggs. They're just gorgeous. So I'm going to take them in the house and let these herbs dry. We're going to get us a bite to eat. It's, I don't know what time it is. It's probably close to, what, 4 o'clock? The only thing I'm going to do with the herbs is, like I said, I'm going to let them sit about 2 hours. I'm going to move them to the stainless steel table out in the sugar shack, spread them out really well, and I'm going to leave them alone at least 5 days. And I'll, of course, turn them and all every day, probably twice a day. Let them dry. And then that way the leaves will naturally come off the stems, and I can get half the oregano put into a jar. The other half I'm gonna turn into some oregano oil. So we'll have plenty of stock moving forward to fall and winter of next year. So kind of let the oregano go a little bit longer. It's stemmy, but that's okay. The leaves are still just as good. So I hope you enjoyed spending some time with us this Sunday. I hope your Sunday's going well. Ours is a beautiful day, but we're wearing down. But I've got a sink now, pretty much complete. So God is good, and He always comes through for us. But as always, stay safe, stay well, and God bless. And I will see you on the next one.